Hey everyone! Try to do this on my laptop, but I don't know. They want some kind of streaming advice or something. So it's a little shaky. But how's everyone doing today? It's starting to get warmer out there. Tonight's video we're going to talk about nutrition. So I got a couple recipes I want to share with you from the book. The Life Science book. So I joined this group. So the Essential Oils Desk Reference Guide. This thing is amazing. I love it. So I've been starting to go through it and just learn all the different things about nutrition. But I've been really looking for different ways to come up with protein sources. And one of my favorite things to do is oatmeal, adding protein and cottage cheese and things to my meals. So Saturday we made, I can't remember what they're called. What's that Mexican thing called? A bowl. So we did chia quinoa tortilla chips, and I fried up some ground beef with tomatoes and peppers and onions and Mexican spices, and I added black beans, and then I threw in a cup of yogurt, whole Greek yogurt, plain yogurt, and I shredded up some Kerrygold cheddar cheese, and then I made bowls. I took like the tortilla chips and lined them, and then I threw a bunch of lettuce in there, spring mix lettuce, and then we filled the bowls up with it, and it came out really good. I had that for leftovers today for dinner, so that was really cool. And then today I did a really good shot of an energy drink with kombucha. So I tried a bunch of new flavors, so that was really good. So tonight what we're going to do is talk about nutrition. Macros are really super important, and if you've checked out my blog on my website, I talk about just gut health with brain health and the importance of getting enough macros. If we don't have enough protein, our body doesn't do what it needs to do. So it's really important. And I don't know if I mentioned this last week or not, but one of the things about protein is, in order to make sure that you get enough protein, you want to take your body weight, divide it by 2, and then divide that by 3, and that's how many grams of protein you should consume for your 3 meals, or basically if you want to break it down to 6 meals. I used to eat 6 meals, but I like 3 meals. I like to do the 8 hours of intermittent fasting. So I kept thinking, well, how the heck do you get protein in your meal? Because everything we grab is carbs, right? If you grab an apple, if you grab a, any kind of fruits or vegetables, those are all carbs. So how do you incorporate protein? And if you're plant-based, you have to be really creative, like with your chia seeds and your quinoa and things like that. So I just kind of went through my protein-based items and thought, well, what can I do with this stuff? So tonight we're going to make two different things. We're going to make, and forgive me for not pronouncing this correctly, but we're going to make Chocomole, Chocomole. And what this is, it's made with an avocado and cacao powder, because I have to have chocolate incorporated in my diet. And it is going to be, it could be a pie filling, it could be a topping to pancakes, waffles, and if you look in the album, I have a recipe for waffles that are fantastic with cottage cheese. Made those over the weekend. Love, love, love those. They came out so crunchy. You can also use this over yogurt, over your cereal. You can put it in a bowl and just eat it like pudding, add whatever kind of toppings you want to. So we're going to make that first, and the first thing we need is a cup of avocado. So so bear with me, I've never done this before, never cooked on live Facebook. And I have my blender, which is kind of noisy, but I will walk away while it's going on. So it's 1 cup of avocado, and I'll post the ingredients in case you guys want to try it. And then, of course, I use organic cacao powder. I love this stuff. It's super healthy. It has all kinds of nutrients, and it gives you energy. So we need energy, right, for everything that we do. So I really like this one because it only has certified organic cacao powder, and it's the fair trade source, so fairtrade.net. So it's an awesome source of energy, and it's way better than like Hershey's cocoa powder, which is what I used to cook with. So that's one of the addition switches I made to have more nutrients in my body, because we just lack the nutrients. So I measured out, it's 4 tablespoons of this, and then there's 16 dates. So I just get these I got these at Costco. There's 2 different types of dates. There's the mega, I can't pronounce that, whatever. But anyways, I got these. They're unpitted. Wait, they don't have any pits in them, right? So don't ask me how that happens, but those are the ones I bought. And then 2 teaspoons of vanilla. So always use pure vanilla. You don't want to use imitation, because who wants to put fake stuff in your body, right? So this is 2 teaspoons. And I'm just going to put that in there. And then we're going to do 2 tablespoons of maple syrup. So where's my maple syrup? I have to get that. I'll be right back. So here we go. I use Kirkland's brand. I know I should buy it from a farmer, but I haven't been out and about. And I'm going to use 2 tablespoons of this. I'll get my measuring. You can see I'm just using a blender. I usually use my Ningxia, but it's, or not, I always say a Ningxia, it's a Ninja. But it's really super loud, so I'm going to use my blender this time. So that's 2 tablespoons of 100% real maple syrup, and then 34 ounces of water, which I thought was a lot. So I'm going to try this. Like I said, it's the first time I'm making it. We're going to just pour that in there, and I'm going to drop in there. And I snuck in a teaspoon of salt, pink salt, because every time I say got caught in there. Every time I cook without salt, it tastes horrible. And I don't know if it's because I drink so much water or what, but we're going to walk away from this. I'm just going to press the power button, and I am going to tell you a little bit about, let's see, we're going to put this on food processor cycle. You got to press it on first. Yeah, see, that's really super loud. I'm going to give it a few minutes to watch it, or to let it blend, and then let's see what happens with it. So some nutrition facts about eating a healthy, balanced diet. Before I started my challenges to do my to lose all my weight, so I went from, for years and years and years, I was 134 pounds. So when I was younger, I was like 100 pounds, which was way underweight, right? Malnutrition, I was like skin and bones and all that. And then after I had my kids and, I got married, you gain the 10-pound marriage weight, or 20 in my case. So after I had my 3rd child, I could not lose my pregnancy weight. So I was 112 pounds when I got pregnant for the 3rd time. And when I delivered my son, I was 134. And for the life of me, I could not shed the weight. I tried everything. I mean, I was cooking what I thought was well-balanced meals. I used to love to cook. I used to bake all the time, and I used real ingredients. I used white flour, I used real butter, and the weight just kept staying on. I started getting uncomfortable. And ironically, I was a size 6 forever, and I stayed in a size 6. I think companies increase the pant size to make you think that you're still the same size. Seemed like everything ran big. But I started getting really uncomfortable, and then I went on a diabetic watch. I think that's done. And let me just finish talking here. And the doctor said, hey, you know what? Diabetes and heart disease runs in your family. You need to do something. You're obese for your height. I'm only 5 foot. So that's when I started in 2016 to really look into healthy options. And I noticed my skin was like chalky and flaky, and my nails were really weak, and all of that. So I really needed to do something, and I didn't want to go to the doctors every 6 months, honestly. I didn't want to give up chocolate or what I thought was like, sugar, because I had a sweet tooth. So when I started doing these challenges and learning about gut health and how eating the right types of foods can really change not only your disposition, but your health, your nutrients, it really made a huge difference. So that's why I just like to share. So, look at how loud that is. Okay, I'm gonna turn it off. Ooh, it's nice and creamy. So, oh, you can't see that, it's kind of dark, but I'll put this up here. And so, again, this is Chocomilk. I don't know, someone pronounce it for me. Probably gonna get my nice cream-colored sweater all like yuck. Ooh, I love chocolate. So, I need a spoon. See how prepared I am? Oh, yeah. So that's got like a nice little consistency. It's kind of thin, but it does say to put it in the refrigerator or freezer for a half an hour. So I imagine it's going to thicken up and have a nice perfect consistency for a pie or whatever. And that is how you make this. And I am going to add, before I put it in the refrigerator, I am going to add a dash of ginger to it, only because I love ginger and I love chocolate. And ginger is amazing. It helps me tremendously with upset stomach, with nauseousness. I used to get vertigo, so ginger helps me a lot with that. So I am just going to stir that in there, and then I am going to pop that in the refrigerator. I'm leaving it in this container just for the sake of being live on Facebook. So, how's that? Alright, so I'll post that recipe, and you can follow me to the fridge while I talk. Like the brightness, I need to figure out how to do this with my laptop, because it was very frustrating not to figure that out. I think Facebook changed the way that you can go live, or I don't know, I'm just not techie. Okay, so the next thing, oh, you want to see the waffle I made? My refrigerator's falling apart. This is the waffle I made. This is the, can you see that? See the inside of my refrigerator? This is the protein waffle. Doesn't that look good? So that's got the cottage cheese and all that. And like I said, if you check out the album section, you'll see the recipe for the waffles. So the next thing I'm going to make is called quinoa oatmeal breakfast. And I'm actually going to modify the recipe that's in the book, just because I make oatmeal a lot. But I never make it with quinoa. I buy quinoa and I don't actually like it. So this recipe calls for a half a cup of quinoa. So I pre-measured everything, and I'm just going to pour it into my saucepan. And, oh, it looks weird. But anyways, the texture, I think, I don't know, what do you guys think about quinoa? Have you ever eaten it? It says that thousands of years ago, I'm going to put this down. Thousands of years ago, quinoa was a key source of nourishment for the Incas, who grew it high in the arid Andes Mountains. Today it is known as a supergrain because it's so good for you. It is rich in essential amino acids, protein, calcium, iron, potassium, and B vitamins, such as riboflavin, not to mention magnesium, zinc, copper, manganese, and folate, a water-soluble B vitamin that occurs naturally in food. The seed of a spinach-like plant, quinoa is most often creamy in color, but it also comes in pink, red, yellow, orange, or black. When cooked, it expands and releases its germ, that sounds good, a delicate, white, fibrous ring that is pleasantly crunchy. Crunchy. I like crunchy. So look for quinoa in the health foods or bulk foods. I got this at Aldi. It was just on the shelf. Full Circle, Tops sells it too. It's really good and it doesn't cost that much money. So yeah, super cheap, and look at all the nutrients you get. You can't go wrong. So it says, if the price looks a little high to you, keep in mind that quinoa triples in volume when cooked. So yeah, that half a cup is added to, how much water was it? 4 cups of water. So that's a lot of water. So to make a quick, nutritious, and tasty side dish for dinner, combine a half a cup of rinsed quinoa with 1 cup of water in a covered saucepan and bring to a boil. Reduce to simmer for 15 minutes, checking to be sure it does not dry out. When the seeds have tripled in size and spiral-shaped white germs are prominent, why do they call them germs? And it just sounds so bad, doesn't it? And spiral-shaped, toss with butter, olive, or avocado oil, chopped garlic, and or fresh herbs. So if you wanted it for like a nice side dish to accompany chicken, steak, whatever, ground beef, I guess. And for additional recipes using essential oils and nutritious ingredients, Young Living does have a cookbook called From Our Fields to Your Table Cookbook. And the recipes were submitted by Young Living members and employees. And of course, you can always Google different recipes. So that is the lowdown on quinoa. It only has, a quarter of a cup only has 160 calories. It has 6 grams of protein and 28 grams of carbs. So if you add this to your meal, your breakfast, it's going to make a nice balanced dish for you. So I am going to add this to, we're going to make it with oatmeal. And in my oatmeal, I always add egg whites. So I usually make a double batch of oatmeal in the morning for Kip and I. So I do 1 cup of oatmeal with 6 tablespoons of egg whites, a teaspoon of vanilla, a teaspoon of salt, and I usually put a banana in there, which is amazing. It comes out really super creamy. And then I let that cook down. It cooks like in 5 minutes. It's really fast. I use water. I don't like milk for my base. Kip likes to add cashew milk or almond milk to it after it's done cooking. But I don't know. It's an added fat that I don't need because I eat a lot of fat. I eat a lot of chocolate candy bars. Those evolved chocolates that I posted in the group, those are the best. But I eat like the avocado pudding, and I eat a lot of almonds and things like that, so I don't like to put added fat in my breakfast unless I'm doing like a protein shake or something. So anyways, and then you can top it with whatever you want. You can do fresh fruit, coconut, berries. I've done peanut butter. I've swirled peanut butter in there. I put cinnamon bark essential oil, which is super fantastic. I've done maple syrup. I've done stevia, which I'm not 100% a fan of stevia, but if I don't have any more syrup, raw unfiltered honey is really good to sweeten as well. So it's a really good breakfast, and it fills you up. And I always add chia seeds, so 2 tablespoons of chia seeds, and it gives it like a nice crunch, and the chia seeds really help fill you up, so it gets you to that next meal. So it's really good if you're trying to feel full. If you're doing intermittent fasting, you only have that 8-hour window to eat. So if you feel full, obviously you can go longer with no food. And water is super important to flush. So you want to be sure you drink half of your body weight in water every single day. And if you're trying to lose weight, what I did is a 6-week challenge, and I was trying to lose my last 5 pounds of weight because now I'm working on fat loss. You drink a gallon of water a day, which is super hard. So what I've been doing is adding, I don't have it out, I add my lemon vitality, and I also add ginger, because the ginger, again, helps me. If you drink a lot of water, you end up feeling a little bit nauseous sometimes. Not to mention you run to the bathroom 20 times a day. But it's a good excuse to get up and walk, right? But that really helps out a lot. So, let's see. I am going to check on this and see what's going on here. Yep, so it's cooking nicely. And I'm just going to grab my wooden spoon. So, you guys can post your favorite meals. I've been modifying a lot. I made chicken marsala the other day, last night actually. And I changed out the flour, the white flour. I've used flaxseed, and I've used almond flour and coconut flour, and honestly it has a different taste. It's kind of nuttier. I don't know, it doesn't taste the same obviously, but the so this is boiling nicely, so I'm going to add my oatmeal. I like the flaxseed the best. So instead of using white flour, I use the flaxseed, and then I dip it in the egg, and I, sorry about that light, I, cook it the same exact way. I saute it and all with the mushrooms, and I use the Marsala wine. I found that using actual Marsala wine from the wine store is way better than Marsala wine from the grocery store. So that's a good tip, because I never knew that when I was younger. So just a healthier way to make it. I think I'm going to try next time using like a rice flour to see if it tastes a little different. Because I really, you know how you want to like replace unhealthy ingredients because white flour is so bad for you? My husband and I got into a conversation about it being bad for you. Why? Because it's processed and refined. So in order to stretch the flour, they totally changed the way the wheat grows and modified it. As my son would say, it's GMO. And because they stripped the original nutrients from it, our body doesn't recognize it and we can't process it. So that's why a lot of people have allergies to gluten, is because of the way that they change the consistency of it. So this is really boiling. I don't know, you want to see? Here we go. So that's really boiling up. I don't usually cook with that much water in my oatmeal, so we're just going to let that kind of cook down a little bit. And I used to think oatmeal was really bad for you. I used to think, I'm not eating oatmeal, it's got too many carbs in it. But the health benefits to oatmeal are amazing, and I really acquired a taste, especially by adding the banana to it, which I'm going to get my banana out now too. The banana is just so delicious in your oatmeal. When you cook it in there, it just adds all that natural sweetness, and I find I don't need to add like the honey or anything. So I'm just going to use this medium-sized banana and kind of smush it in there and let it all cook together. And I tell you, my friend who's a nurse, she gave me this trick, and I've used it ever since. She's the one who actually got me into eating oatmeal for breakfast. What did I used to have for breakfast? I used to eat protein shakes with, the protein powder? I don't like protein powder. So I did a lot of protein shakes in the morning. I would, get my little blender out and add my kale with my almond milk and my protein powder. I drink those like every single day for like 6 weeks, so I think I got sick of them. I gotta tell you, this morning I did make my own protein shake, so now I use yogurt instead of the protein powder. I have not bought protein powder at all, and I like it a lot better. It tastes a little bit tangy because you know how protein's got like that, tang to it, but I add vanilla to kind of cut it, and then I add a drop of, what's it called? Cinnamon bark. I couldn't remember. Cinnamon bark essential oil to the shake, and it just gives it a nice flavor. And yes, it has cacao powder in it. So this is boiling really cool. I'm going to add my egg white now, and I just want to check that out. I don't know if you guys can see that. You can see how nice and can you see that? Sorry. Like I said, I'm not a professional. So at this point, when you add the egg, you have to continuously stir it so that the egg white doesn't cook in there. You want it to all blend in. And I told my husband when I added, like he wanted to make oatmeal the other day, I'm like, no, I'm going to do it. He's like, why? I go, because I have a special ingredient. And he's like, what? You put eggs in there? And I'm like, of course. How else do you think we get protein in our breakfast? So he's like, well, how come you can't see it? And why would you put eggs in oatmeal? I said, well, if you were baking oatmeal cookies, you'd put eggs in there, right? So, yeah, but this comes out super creamy. I should put my light on, but I'm afraid the fan's going to go on. Let's see. We'll be brave. Da-da-da. There we go. We did it. So here we go. Can you see it? Look how nice and thick that is. Doesn't it look great? So that is... This is breakfast for tomorrow. This is going to serve four servings. So this will serve a family, and it's done. I mean, it took less than... I'm going to turn it off now, let it cool down. And then I'm going to add my vanilla and my oil. I'm going to add cinnamon bark and nutmeg to it. And that is a fantastic, healthy breakfast. Tomorrow morning you can reheat it. You can also turn that into overnight oats. So if you wanted to do a mason jar and layer it, I'll post that as well. So that was that for those 2 meals. So let me know what you thought, if you enjoyed it, if you want to see me cook something else. I wanted to share with you as well and then we're going to log off because I have a Zoom call in 5 minutes with Awana kids. Enzymes. I don't know if you ladies and gents out there know that enzymes are the key to digestion. So enzymes are biological catalysts that speed up the chemical reactions in all living things. Without enzymes, nothing would work. Our food would sit for weeks in our stomachs and we would eventually die. Enzymes are absolutely vital to human health and are the foundation on which life is perpetuated. The purpose of enzymes is to break molecules apart or put them together, which they do very quickly and efficiently. There are specific enzymes for each chemical reaction needed to make each individual cell work properly. So, the digestive enzymes break down the food we eat to release the nutrients for absorption, and they are perhaps the most talked about enzymes. So without our enzymes, we would not be able to digest our food, and there's a quick enzyme reference guide to making sure that we get a healthy dose of them every single day. So I'm just going to post afterwards in the unit section for gut health just some things that might assist if your body has a hard time digesting. If you find like your discomfort, you're getting a lot of stomach pains, it could be that your enzymes aren't properly functioning because you might need an added boost. And if you haven't seen a nutritionist, I would highly recommend that, because you guys know I'm not a doctor or anything. I'm sharing what I've learned from my nutritionist and my health coach and my personal trainer. But Young Living does have great supplements, and I can't wait to try this one. I tried a sample of it at Rally back in January, but it's called Mighty Zyme. Oh, what's wrong with my sweater? It's called Mighty Zyme, and it's like a pixie stick. So it comes like in this little pixie stick. Remember pixie straws when we were kids and we used to like just eat them and walk down the street? Yeah, pure sugar at its best. Well, this is what this is like, and I want to try it. So it's called Mighty Pro. I think I said Mighty Zyme. So that is that. Sorry, I just got a text that was kind of confusing to me. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed tonight's live, and I hope you try the recipes out. I, again, will post those in the album section so you can have the recipe and try it and start getting more protein in your diet. Have a great night.